Some point I'll have to build a avionics research facility. Oh, I finished the Faroe Islands infrastructure. I completely missed that. Probably create a little excess. Could have imported a little more with you get overflow loss. I'm curious. Oh, Boring Inferno. Yeah, I'm a socialist. I'm a democratic socialist. Not for the usual reasons people say, but I believe, well, the Leninists with the Vanguard Party thing, it does work well for socialists achieving power in the first place. There's a real risk that the Vanguard won't give up their power once they acquire it, and then you can get, like, under Brezhnev, where the party elites in the Soviet Union held massive power, and they misused it, and this led to a lot of disillusionment. Populist was still reasonably supportive of the Soviet Union. The idea that everyone hated it is a lie, but it definitely was less popular than it could have been, and it could have been, you know, more popular if let's see, probably should make some more destroyers, or the steel is limited. Well, no, not so bad right now. Let's see, these guys will produce high quality ships. These will produce efficient ones. I think I was going to do modernized navy, which means that will buff the growth of Orlogs, whatever. Which is this, the raiding fleet. Bigger speed bonus here. Depth charges. I think surface visible, which makes the thing hard to hit. Speed, depth charges. Yeah, that's probably better than the create a variant of the destroyer that's. Don't I already have? I don't have an early version. Well, even this version would need upgrading. Let's see, 34 point. Yeah, no, this is substantially faster. Okay. Let's call this Mark II. Easy enough to remember. Queue one of these up. Raiding fleet. Actually, I'll do a couple. I have to shift the dockyard off this soon to avoid overflow, because not always good enough about this micro. I definitely wasting some factors in the infrastructure, but I can at least avoid the dockyards doing the same. Let's throw in one more. And these all just, well, actually they'll be escort destroyer forces. They're terrible little ships, just meant to protect against subs. Wish Trump wasn't American. Yeah, Trump is a danger to the world, but he is symptom of a larger problem. Boring for no. Fascism will keep rearing its ugly head periodically. We're just back where we were in the world 100 years ago, with the rise of Nazis, now with the rise of MAGA. Except that the problem is Germany was able to be defeated because it was a smaller industrial power than the US and the UK, and even France had some advantages over it, like the Maginot Line, which at least forced Germany to invade the Low Countries, which antagonized the UK even further. The United States is pretty much the unbeatable global hegemon right now. If Europe doesn't get its act together and form an alliance with China, and probably Russia, even though that's extremely distasteful, I know, because Putin is a monster, but if they don't make some unholy alliances, there's no way that they'll be able to hold off the US from conquering Greenland and probably invading Canada, and it's going to be really bad. Yeah, this is why one of the reasons I try not to have a US-dominated world be the outcome of games in Parts 9 and 4. Problem is, it all happens too late in history. Even by 36, that's kind of unavoidable. History has momentum. I mean, left liberalism, oh god. The Democrats are feckless, spineless opposition, and they remind me of the Social Democratic Party of Germany before Hitler, which historically, and this isn't talked about often enough, they encouraged their membership to work with the Nazis, to be loyal to Nazis. You should watch Tad Sturmer's YouTube channel. It's excellent. He talks about the concept of a loyal opposition, and that's what the SPD, yeah, Social Demokratische Partei Deutschland. I speak a little German. That's what the SPD is the loyal opposition to Hitler. Whereas the communists fought the Nazis tooth and nail, but they also fought the SPD. Because the SPD was acting as a loyal opposition, they couldn't distinguish that even though the SPD were not their friends, that by fight, and in fact had sent far-right death squads to murder prominent communists like Rosa Luxemburg. So they were right to hate them, but they didn't understand that if they divided their forces fighting the SPD and the Nazis at the same time, which is what the German communists, the KPD, historically did, at the same time that they were also dealing with Moscow trying to boss them around, and some within the KPD wanting to work with Moscow, and others wanting to forge a more independent path. So internal divisions and top. They couldn't form a united front against the Nazis, and they really needed to do a popular front war in France, where they worked with the SPD, even if the SPD couldn't be trusted, and understanding that they could not trust the SPD, that the SPD would turn on them and backstab on a moment's notice, but they should have forged a truce with the SPD to focus on the Nazis. The Nazis were the greater, more immediate threat. But they were convinced there's a historian who talks about this. They believed in what's known as the curse of power or something like that. They thought that the Nazis would be overwhelmed by trying to run the German state, and they would lose all their popularity and just collapse, just like people thought MAGA would implode. But fascists have a way of holding on to power even when they mismanage everything. Yeah, SPD is still a thing, but it's a recreated party. The SPD of today is nothing like the SPD of the 1930s. The party culture, everything about it is very different. This is partly because the US rolled into West Germany, which historically had very high KPD membership and basically banned the Communist Party. And so a lot of former communists ended up joining the Social Democratic Party, and so the party culture is entirely different because the US was suppressing the communists. And you got people who, in terms of personality, ideology, temperament, would have normally been communists, were part of the Social Democratic Party, until there was a lawsuit won against it being illegal to ban the Communist Party, and that's how you get Die Linke today, which is the ideological successor. But people aren't just gonna, people join the SPD and then their kids, who they raised, that way they became more and more centrist and less radical. And yeah, the CIA has worked to crush communist parties and to divide the left anywhere it can, so that's another thing. For instance, the guy who's my current country leader, Axel Larsen here, he was a historical figure in Denmark. He was originally a social democrat, then he became a Trotskyist as a communist, and then for a while supported Stalin after Stalin solidified his power, and then during the Cold War, he was still around. This was a very long-lived politician who started his political career very early. So this is him when he was young. He served well into old age. It's like a 40, 50-year political career, this guy. He ended up becoming a CIA asset in like the 50s. early 60s or something, and he was, yeah, late 50s, and he was responsible for creating a split in the Danish Communist Party and break off anti-Moscow communist faction that called itself the Socialist Workers' Party of Denmark. SF, they went by the acronym, in like 1963 or something. The CIA intentionally engineered the split in the Danish Communist Party, using Larsen, who was a CIA asset by that point, to do it. Just as the CIA also masterminded the split of the Socialist Party of the United States into 3 successor parties: the Social Democrats, who ceased to exist, that Social Democrats dissolved, the Democratic Socialists of America, which merged with the Democratic Party, so they don't really exist anymore except as a caucus within the Democratic Party, and the Socialist Party of the United States, who said, you guys are insane, you're not going to achieve anything working with the Democratic Party, talking to the Democratic Socialists, and Social Democrats, you're not even socialists. How dare you call yourselves successors to us? And unfortunately, the CIA and the FBI suppressed them, so they're tiny, to the point where there's like 1,000 members in the United States now. They still exist, but they're decrepit, and probably most of their leadership is actually FBI, CIA assets, even today. And you can try and join them and stuff and revive their local chapter, but they probably won't even actually contact you back if they think you actually are a sincere socialist. They are just to hold the name so that no one can reuse it, really. KP is still a thing. It's Die Linke now. Boring Inferno. It's Die Linke, and Die Linke actually has very substantial electoral support in Germany by the numbers. So maybe you've heard that it doesn't have any support, but actually the numbers show a different story in terms of electoral results. Which is one reason communists should participate in elections, and socialists of all stripes, because it can help show their strength and give lie to the claim that no one supports them. It doesn't work in the US two-party system, but Die Linke has a lot of voters in Germany. It's more regional, it's not everywhere, it's in West Germany, because that's the highly industrialized regions of West Germany, like here where the Rhenish Republic is, Köln, Essen. Those highly industrialized areas have historically had very high communist support, and that didn't just go away, even though it was under, Western occupation after World War II. Whereas historically, fascism was, in those kind of ideologies, more popular in, Prussia, partly because of the Prussian legacy. Ostmark, Brandenburg, also for reasons of being more agricultural and so forth. Like Ostmark is more agricultural region. Hinterpommern, these are East Prussia. These are more rural areas, and they tend to have weaker communist support. At least traditional communists. I guess Maoists could get support among the farmers if they really wanted. Die Linke was, Die Linke was a recreation of the KPD was the party that ruled, and they were banned illegally after the merge of East and West Germany, because I don't know if you know this, unfortunately I'm too share history of your own country to you, but I've looked deeply into all the lies they're told about a lot of things. East and West Germany merged, and part of the conditions of the merger where it was stipulated that there would be no banning of the Communist Party. It was like put in the treaty of the merger between the two. And then very soon after, West Germany then proceeded to go back on that, because words are meaningless to capitalists. They never keep it. Like the billionaire-funded, billionaire-controlled capitalist parties, they never keep their word. So they immediately went in and banned the KPD. And so the former KPD members challenged this in court and won. The judge said, well, they can ban the KPD, but they can't ban the ideology of communism, because the treaties said they can't ban the Communist Party, and nobody thought that, well, if you have to be more specific, you can't ban the KPD specifically. So they found a loophole, and they were able to get away with banning the KPD but not communism. So Die Linke was the reformation of the KPD. The Linke did not rule East Germany, technically, the KPD did, but yes, they are the same people to a degree, same ideology, but they're not actually the same party. So I know it's a fine point. The KP didn't roll, the SPD did. A merge of SPD and KPD. Yeah, I mean, yes, but it was basically the KPD, the old KPD leadership. Now we're getting into even more finer nits. Yes, the Soviet Union forced a merger of the SPD and the KPD in East Germany. But they were essentially the KPD, and the KPD split back off after the merger of East-West Germany, and then it was banned, and their symbols were banned. You can't legally show the symbol of the KPD in Germany. You'll get arrested if you show it. It's the same way that swastikas can get you arrested. So, yeah, Die Linke is the reformation of the KPD. If you've seen, there's videos online by Die Linke leadership talking about various causes, and they, at least for years, I don't know if they still do, they had a portrait of Rosa Luxemburg on their wall, because Rosa Luxemburg was an influential member of the KPD and in many ways espouses the version of socialism that the Die Linke aligns with. They're more aligned with the historical Spartacist branch of the KPD than they are the Stalinist branch. So the Spartacists and the Stalinists, if you play Hearts 4 and you go communist, these are actually the two choices. You can go Spartacist Germany or you can go Stalinist Germany. The Spartacist branch of the KPD is the one that Die Linke, it was reformed, but it's not a clone because the KPD was dominated by the Stalinists and the Die Linke is dominated by the Spartacists. With a K in the spelling. Spartacist is how it's often English spelled, even though that's not. Don't ask me. It's references Spartacus of ancient Rome, so it really should be able to see the slave who led a revolt against the Roman Empire. It's a direct reference to him. A seducer. I like hiring seducers because it's not a trait you can get any other way. And infiltration effectiveness. Folk Bond. Folk Bond? Like, the name is Bond, James Bond. It's Bond, Folk Bond. Is that a coincidence? Was this a historical guy, Folk Bond? Some of the spy choices for certain countries are historical. I wonder if this is a real guy, Folk Bond. Probably not. But maybe. Send them to infiltrate the Rhenish Republic. With their high steel, it's important that I turn them communist. This guy's even wearing like a beret. He looks French inspired, but they're already the largest party in the Rhenish Republic. I just need to push them over the edge to actually winning electoral success. Like, this would be the election events. The Democrats need to form a coalition with the non-aligned or fascists in order to hold on to power. You actually get a choice. You can boost. I don't think you can boost non-aligned, so they would have a choice of, I should form a coalition government with the communists, but remain democratic, or with the fascists. And you can get 5% fascist or 5% communist support. And this is why certain countries eventually flip communist. It's because, like, Moldavian Socialist Republic started democratic, then they formed a coalition with the communists in the previous elections, then the next time the communists won the elections. And they get this guy's economist and deal broker. Very good country leader. Because you get randomly generated traits when you flip a lot of times. This guy has no traits, but Moldovan Socialist Republic has a very nice leader traits. Yeah, at least right-wing part. At least the neo-Nazis, the AfD, they're basically neo-Nazis. They had to form a coalition, but that's meaningless. So did Hitler. So did the Nazis. They formed a coalition with the conservatives, and then they slowly sidelined the conservatives. Now, I'll admit, the German conservatives seem to be more wary about being sidelined this time around. They don't want history to repeat itself, but it will, because the people like Elon Musk are coming in and funding the AfD, and the billionaires in Germany themselves, though less powerful than the ones who funded Hitler, are still going to want to see fascism being used to support the power billionaires. What is different is that there was a rise in socialist sentiment in Germany when the Nazis were funded, and that was why they were funded, and Germany is not in that same historical situation this time around. So the billionaires have less reason to fund Nazis than they did back then. But, you know, I mean, what'll end up happening is Germany will slowly, they'll push austerity will make things worse in Germany, like the AfD Conservative Coalition. The worse things get, the more people blame immigrants and Muslims and stuff. That will be used to fuel more fascism. As conditions get worse for many people, socialism will gain power. That will scare the billionaires eventually, and then they'll fund fascism for real. So history will repeat itself, just not that quickly. Yeah, the AfD is now under special supervision after... Yeah. There's some pushback in Germany, which is good. It's not at all like Trump and MAGA, but it's still dangerous, and it represents a warning sign of things to come is the problem. It's not as bad as Italy, where a neo-fascist party took over and they just ruled the government, and they've managed to hold into power for a surprising amount of time now. Party that was like descended from Mussolini, but history is slowly moving in the direction it did before. It's very dangerous. So heavy industry regulations, so I can recruit foreign scientists, and this will reduce lack of resource penalty, which is going to get much more severe than it is now as they keep building military factories without the resources, or even the capability to import the resources they need to run them. Yeah, I needed to dedicate factories to rocket artillery. But I'm not going to have the rocket artillery for a little while longer. Well, I'll stick another factory in fighters until then. This last one will probably get converted from fighters to rocket artillery. That's right, that's why I made these all separate lines, so I can convert like just one or two of them. The ones with the least access to rubber. As need, happens. It needs to be diversified. They won't all be fighters. Some will be CAS eventually. Some will be nav bombers. Some will be lightly armed fighters that are just there to disrupt, and some will be heavily armed fighters whose job is to destroy, and then they have more armor, because if I'm going to invest in putting more guns on a fighter, I need to give enough armor that it doesn't die too easy. So I'll be... If I had like one line with 5 factories, I wouldn't be able to split it 5 different ways later. But yeah, or let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll probably split it 3 or 4 ways at least. I'm not sure what the exact distribution would be, so. Yeah, they are a threat to democracy. The AfD, I agree. They're less dangerous than MAGA because the billionaires in the United States have lined up, and not all of them, some of them support the Democrats, but enough of them, like the Elon Musks of the US. Elon Musk is a US billionaire. People like Elon Musk have lined up to support Trump, and there's enough of them who've done it that it's reached the point of no return. I want out of the United States. I do. I want to become a refugee in another country, but nowhere will accept give Americans refugee status. And I'm disabled on COVID, so I'm not able to get like a work visa because I'm too sick to work. And if you're too sick to work and you're in a country that isn't being accepted as a source of refugees yet, well, it's a very bad situation. Boom. 23 infantry divisions. So micro can be very frustrating. Once I capitulate some of these little German states, I'll get some older rifles I can just grind into Army XP, I suppose. But I don't really, I'm trying to do right now is avoid giving rifles to these guys. Grind what they currently have into Army XP while I get equipment to the Soviets, and then a little later I'll probably give them rifles again. I also need to pick more divisions for winter training. I sent 2 up to here. They didn't finish their winter training because it's too warm in June up here. Northern Finland even. Right. Heat acclimatized? No, that's a bad idea. Send these guys where it's cooler, so at least they don't. Yep, send them to Tromsø. So at least they don't gain more heat acclimatization. And I can be at war for a while, so I can invest in very slow things like getting cold acclimatized troops. Which, not having them go heat in the summer was a little helpful in that direction. Yeah, send the Roskilde division there too, I guess. This is definitely gonna stretch the supplies in Troms. The breaking point. Oh, sending stuff by sea. It's a level 7 naval base. Okay, it'll be fine actually. Earlier I was looking at how many supplies are there, and it was just the state supply, and it's very low. Dense, undefended even. All my best divisions that will see combat. Specialize in the colder parts of the world. I don't know if I want to bother with the training divisions. Still keep a couple in Copenhagen in case of some emergency where I'm attacked. Can't get the divisions back. Yeah, I mean a party that literally is the NSDAP all over again is not going to get support. The nature of fascism is it has to morph its colors a little bit each time to survive and get support. Just looking at how long this stream has been going here, though. I probably... Shoot! Oh, I messed up with the cruiser. I was gonna split off one of the dockyards earlier. I'm just gonna do these. There's no hurry to get this, and this way if I forget, September 14th, it'll be less of a tragedy. Aggression packs being cancelled. I'm amazed that Norwegian People's Republic has held on this long. But yeah, I should be winding this video down. I can jump right into another. So if you hang around, maybe you're yeah, Germany's not about to be ruled by fascists stably. It's true. There's still a lot of resistance to it. But people thought the US would have a civil war if fascists took over, and then MAGA happened. So I wouldn't be so certain that... let's defend the policy of welfare here. This won't even move me out of the low welfare spending, but it will get the cooldown going. It's a year until I can take another thing to move it further that way. Change of ministers. Oh, if I fire this guy, I could get the next level of welfare spending instead of the industry magnet. Oh, this guy would be even worse, the land script minister. can't really do much anyways other than just fire the guy, which I don't think I want to do just yet. Slowly expand the welfare system. Eventually I should see decisions that say expand the welfare system. I think that wasn't removed. So exile the royal family. But that just gains me communism support. And gives Sweden an event? No point. Alright, how is it even... Doesn't even have a description. Danger of royal families that can be, of course, used by people who want to push monarchist sentiment, but there is 15% support for the Bondist Party, but not much. Can't even do anti-monarchist raids as Denmark, which is silly. Suppose if I had very high base stability, I was having trouble getting rid of this last bit of monarchist sentiment, I could exile royal family then. But that won't be for a long time. Anyways, I should June 28th, right? Yeah, I was thinking I was going to save this. So I'm going to save this, cut the video, scarf a really quick snack, and I'll be right back. My viewers on YouTube, Twitch, video on demand later, and the current live viewer, I wish you all the best. Take care of each other, be kind to yourselves, and may you always find a guiding star leading home. Adieu, best luck, and I'll be back very shortly.